So, so I've started the
You did
recording.
it.
Okay, I think you guys have to click something and accept,
Yeah,
right?
there's an OK on the at the bottom.
Okay, so we're recording. I'm in East Hampton. Rochelle Williams is in New Mexico. Steve Salinda is in California. And Susanna Ungaro is in Sag Harbor. And we are Writers Daily Dive today. Sometimes there's more of us, sometimes less of us, but Fridays, we're reading some of our work. It's just another way. We meet Monday through Friday from 1 to 2, but on Fridays, it's just another way to move our work forward by reading some of it. And today we have a collaboration because Lindsay, a former member, well, I guess she's still a member, but her work schedule got in the way. Now she is a pet death. What is her new job?
She's like a death doula for
for
pets.
for pets. She's working
Oh,
at
Yeah,
a pet cemetery doing these um
water cremation.
water cremations, and using her field of love and expertise to help creatures. But so Steve and Lindsay met here and wrote together for over a year. Then they met in person in Los Angeles. And then Steve told her a story because her specialty is ghost stories, and they've just done a collaboration. So that's a long intro.
Wow,
Do you
I
want to
like it.
read some of it, or do you want to preface it at all?
Um, yeah, this happened about 30 years ago, in a former marriage. And I was at my former in-laws who are in a small town outside of Billings, Montana. And some strange happenings happened. So Lindsay loved the story and she said, "We got to collab on this. You got to write this." And ghost stories are not my thing, really. I never wrote a ghost story before. So this is uh part two of like I think at least a three-parter. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So okay, I'm gonna read a little bit at the end of part two.
Now the collaboration goes like this: you tell her verbally the story, and then she's no.
No, actually, through Substack, I was able to, okay, it was through Google Docs actually. I sent her the story.
Okay.
And then through Substack, there is a co-author thing that you can do. Now, unfortunately, I kind of screwed her a little bit on this one because I'm traveling and I'm on my iPad.
Right.
And
It's a little different.
unfortunately, Substack makes it real hard if you're not on a real live computer to do
Right.
certain things. So I couldn't edit it. I couldn't do anything with it. And poor Lindsay had to do the whole thing.
But
So,
okay, but you guys are actually like you're sending her writing.
oh yeah.
And okay, good. I just wanted to know if that was okay.
Yeah. And the way it should work, I have to check this out when I get home on a real computer, is that I can look at a draft just like you look at your draft, and I can edit it on my computer.
Now, there
But
is a secret way I think I found by not using the app on the iPad,
right.
by putting in Google search the actual,
Yes.
have you done that?
Yeah. In fact, I did that today where I had to go through Chrome
Yeah.
or through yeah, you go through your browser and you go in the back door that way.
Yeah. And then you can get into your
Yeah.
stuff.
They,
Yeah.
right.
backdoor where? I'm listening.
Um, You
What we mean is like if you put like Steve Salinda at Substack.com or whatever, the actual address to the because when you're looking at the Substack app on your iPhone or iPad, you're looking at it as like another reader. Whereas you want to go into your page where you can see the back end and all the editing and stuff. So you have to do that a different way. You have to put your actual Substack address in the browser bar and then it'll come up as your account.
Great. I'll bring my computer.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Thank
That
you.
was a little okay.
okay. All right, here we go. Hey, I had some funny things happen to me yesterday. I begin. Both my wife and mother-in-law, who are sitting opposite me at the table, give each other a side glance. Craziest thing, I was playing basketball and had to chase a bad shot, and I thought I saw a little girl running beside me. My mother-in-law gasps, and both women look up at me. What exactly did you see, Steve? My mother-in-law asks. I describe the long single braid, the high-colored dress, and the button-up shoes. And of course, her unnatural transparency and vanishing like a dead holograph. Oh, that's just Sari, one of the younger sisters explains. Sari, I ask with raised eyebrows. Mom, can we show him? Two excited girls ask. Before she can answer, they each grab a hand and are leading me toward the living room. We're headed toward the fireplace, and even though my head is saying, let's go, my feet want to be planted as they are now pulling me. One of them manages to make a hand mirror appear, while the other now has a flashlight in hand. You have to get down here with us, they insist, as they are kneeling at the very edge of the firebox. As my neck nervously stretches into the fireplace, I notice a small hand space between the firebox floor and the hearth. The girls, with their less than full-grown body parts, easily slip their hands into the space. One holds the mirror while the other shines the flashlight into the void.
Whoa.
My mother-in-law provides some context. We had a guy over here who was going to convert this fireplace to gas. He removed a few bricks along the side here to look. He was shocked to see that there's writing on the bricks down here. I could feel a heavy cloak of dread coming over me. As the girls have aligned the mirror and light in just the right way to reveal the writing. The writing is upside down from our perspective, but in bold, black, capital letters. It's pretty clear to decipher what's there. S-A-R-I. Oops, sorry. My mother-in-law explains that the hearth was sealed before the guy came over, so it's not possible that one of the kids did it. My heart beats faster, and my breathing becomes shallow, almost panting. The man never came back to finish the job. In my estimation, he didn't appreciate a good ghost story. The girls happily tell me all about the joys of living with their invisible friend, a ghost child. She likes TV, especially cartoons, the youngest tells me. My mother-in-law adds that sometimes the TV will turn on by itself and will change channels all on its own. I literally have no words as I fight to control my rapid breathing. I remain a bit skeptical and have to check things out for myself. With the help of the girls, I squeeze my hand into the gap. There can't be more than a half-inch of space between my hand and the wall. It's so tight, I really can't see what I'm doing, so I have one of them line my hand up. I want to touch the words. After a bit of maneuvering on my part and cooperative aiming on their part, they agree that I'm touching the writing. I have to be sure. So we get their brother involved, and he tries to manipulate the mirror in place so that I can see my hand. After more angling of the light and mirror, I look in the mirror to verify its location. Satisfied with their alignment, pressing my fingertips into the brick, I rub the letters vigorously, then pull my hand out. Nothing. No ink, no charcoal, no crayon, no ash, no smudge, no dirt, nothing.
Hmm.
There's a squeal of laughter, and the youngest giggles, "See, we told you." All three of them are laughing, but they soon fade to silence as they stare at me, staring at my unblemished fingertips. I can't hide my fear, the total cognitive dissonance my brain is suffering. I feel their eyes on me as I just stare at my fingertips, rubbing my thumb to fingers in a tight, tight circle. "What's wrong?" the little one asks. "Nothing," I smile. But the voice in my head that only I can hear says, "This is what it's like to touch a ghost."
Lovely. Love it. I'm
So
wondering how long did this happen after you told the universe, I want to look for thin spaces?
this happened way before the thin spaces. So uh,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
interesting.
there's other, like I said, there's more to come. This is just a part of it. And if you read the first part, you'll notice that there are some uh, paranormal characters that have already come into play, and there's others to follow. And to tell you the truth, after all this, I still said, I don't know. Did I imagine all this? I mean, what the heck?
Because you were an engineer, you're a skeptic at this point.
I
You're
am
not.
I am super skeptical. Like, okay, this is crap. This doesn't exist. Whatever. But it's like, hmm.
I love it.
So I'm less skeptical now. I'm not totally convinced, but less skeptical.
Even when it's in print?
Even when it's in print, yeah.
Really nice. Thank you, Steve.
Sure.
Enjoyed that.
Okay. Thank you.
I love that you guys did it together, and it's so suspenseful. And yeah, so I'll be reading the whole thing. Obviously.
What's great is that Lindsay has some fantastic pictures of of course she wasn't there, right? But she has pictures that really go with it. And it's like, wow. I
Oh,
mean,
cool. Yeah, she's an amazing
oh
photographer. Like,
yeah.
she's
She's
really talented. Yeah,
Yes, she is, and she's really into this. So this is a perfect collaboration. So
right.
I told her, I said, "I'll give you the story. You make it into something," and she really
Beautiful.
has. So it's great.
Beautiful. All right, gang. Who's next? Rochelle or Susanna? Who would like to venture into this?
Uh, I can read a piece, unless Susanna wants to go ahead.
Well, you spoke first, so let's do
Yeah,
you.
no, I just needed to text my lawyer because I got some bad news. The renter that I had is just told me today after 2.5 weeks that she's not taking the house. I don't know why she wouldn't have told me a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And now today was preparing the house for her to move in. I'm sorry to share this, but why don't we listen to Rochelle and then I'll see if I can find something to read.
Yeah, because I have something too, so you have time.
Okay, all right. I have to leave at 2 o'clock, but just letting you know now.
We'll be done.
Okay.
So
This is,
Rochelle, yeah.
this is a fragment. I don't know what it belongs to or where it's going. It's just the beginning of something which it feels like a flash piece to me, but it's not finished. So just
You know, something that I find helpful is sort of having to encapsulate the project over and over again. So would you like to try like maybe just a brief like this
Oh.
is from, what the ultimate project is?
This isn't related to any of my other writing. So
Oh, this is a real fragment.
it's a random piece that is kind of in response. One of my favorite, I really enjoy Ursula Heggie. Intrusions is one of her books, and
Don't
it's
know
kind of
her.
like a response to that.
Okay, fantastic.
all right. She has her pretty desk by the window and her books, and her cat with the green eyes and the lovely, inscrutable Nefertiti face, and her treadmill for those days, oh, so many days, when she simply cannot open the door and step outside. And on those days, so few, so rare, when she can open the door, those days when a sort of grace falls on her like a filmy, gold-spangled dress, like the shower of gold in which Danae conceived Perseus, she has her walks, miles and miles of walking, through the liquid, damp, rustling, restless green of the semi-urban forest of the little hamlet where she lives. And so, given all she has, the desk, the books, the cat, the walks, she finds herself asking why these things are not enough and what more could she possibly want. On the many days when she cannot open the door, a different sort of mantle falls over her soon after she wakes, something heavy and strange that drags her like a great weight attached to the back of her skull, drags her down with a grief she cannot bear and cannot accept and cannot let go. After years of counseling, grief therapy, Jungian analysis, fasting, something on the order of 700 different kinds of supplements, all purported to restore energy, cure brain fog, give back youthful vigor, and etc. She still wakes most days fearful and resigned, and has learned to revel wholly in those rare, brief visitations of relief, when instead of that awful weight pulling her down, she feels buoyed up by the incandescent beauty of each moment. So what happened to our heroine? Let's call her Ella. It helps to have a name when you want to see your character and let the reader start to know her and identify with her and ultimately to love her. A name is important, don't you think? We'll call her Ella for now, though that may change because one of the many lessons of life in and outside of fiction is that nothing stays the same, and it's foolhardy to rely on the idea of permanence. After all, Earth could be hit by an asteroid tomorrow, and then really, what's the point of loving a character who is suffering and struggling and trying valiantly to live? So back to our question, what happened to Ella all those years ago? How many years has it been? She loses track. And why in all the names of all the gods of all the pantheons can she not shake off the thing that happened all those years ago, the terrible, terrible thing? She, Ella, picks up a green pencil and makes a hard mark in her sketchbook, a long, hard stem of medium green, and she thinks about the color and the way the matter of the pencil adheres to and loses itself, dies really into the matter of the paper, dies to live as a swath of emerald, just begging to be made into an illusory bit of stem supporting some kind of blossom. She will have to think about what kind of blossom will effloresce at the end of such a stem, and whether the leaves along the stem will be serrated or smooth, shiny or matte. The green of the pencil dies to live as an illusion of stem, as we are supposed to die into Jesus and be reborn in him and all that nonsense. Are you beginning to see, to feel, dear reader, how my authorial intrusions create a distance between you and the scarred, scared, lovely, lonely Ella? Do you see how I push you two apart? It's aggravating, isn't it? I know you are growing interested, perhaps even a bit fond of her, and you'd like for me to get the fuck out of the way so you can watch her meander through the little forest and think, yes, think. Remember, imagine, daydream, pet the cat, all that. You'd like to see her carnelian hair pick up the light from the window and gleam like new pennies. You're panting not to know just why she suffers, but to feel her suffering. Oh, how we love the windows into the soul our characters give us.
Jesus Christ. Okay, that's it. Why even write another word? That's what I always feel like after Rochelle. I read something of Rochelle. I'm like, all right, it's been done.
I know, really. Please Write a book. Write a book about Ella. Write a book about anything, please.
I was just gonna say you're cheating on your book, but for a worthy mistress.
I know, really. Exactly. My gosh.
It's so beautiful. And I love how you're telling us, like, not to trust the narrator and not to trust her name and all of these. I just love it. I mean, I hope that you're going to not tinker with this at all and just publish it as a Substack, like, like, here's my piece for the week. So beautiful.
It is. It
So,
is.
so Substack, I think, is a great vehicle for all these bits and pieces I have, these
Right.
random things. Maybe they don't need a bigger shape. Maybe they just, yeah. So,
Right. And like what I was saying, like in learning how to maybe send out a weekly email to subscribers where like that's the piece, but then at the bottom of the email it says, and here's my latest chapter of blah blah blah. And just here's what's going on, right? So they can read further if they want. Beautiful. Oh my God. I would need to read it like three more times, but I'm just
I know, really. Holy cow. I want to read
it's
it.
But I
It
mean, I
was,
wonder if there's a way that this can be part of the book that you're working on, the greater project.
uh, I do wonder that too. All these threads, how they connect, and I think I get so stuck in with these questions.
Yes, yes, me
And I
too.
think the only way out is just through the writing, write more and more and more and more, and so that will be the answer to. I mean, the writing will lead toward.
Right, the process itself, because like when I think of my book as a whole, it is so daunting and I can't answer these questions either. Like, where does this fit? Like a crazy map. But and the only thing I can come up with too is just get it out, just keep going. And but it's scary, and Susanna has the same questions, like how is all this gonna make something? And we just don't know. Like in the middle of it, you just don't know what it is you're making yet, probably, and how it's all gonna make sense, right?
And I mean, we live in a more and more fragmented world and a more and more fragmented state of consciousness. And so I
True.
don't think I don't think it's odd that we're speaking in fragments.
no,
Right, and we're writing for people who are paying attention in fragments, and so like we were both talking about Eleanor Anster, there's 65 postcards. Like maybe that's like the way the readers now are reading in these short bursts and then making connections on their own. And like if you watch old TV, which like I'll watch anything, I'm like so addicted to TV, and I was as a kid, you see how long reaction times were. It's like, what are they all standing around for? It's like, and now all the cuts are like boom, 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 because our brains have grown accustomed to oh, Amy's here. Our brains have grown accustomed to piecing it together. And I think, everybody's always like, nobody's reading. We're reading all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like everything is reading the news and I mean, we're watching stuff, but we're also reading, but in this fragmented way. Yeah.
you know,
You,
I was just going to add that the number one positive comment I get is that I read your stuff because I can read it in about a minute or two, 3 minutes at most. And it's like, okay, I get it. You
and
know,
all that would mean was taking a 30-minute piece and cutting it up into 5 smaller pieces, right?
exactly, exactly.
Hi,
Well,
Amy. Amy's
because
beaming in from California too.
I was thinking of taking I happened to see a David Lynch book that he wrote, and it was just each page was like a story with maybe I know that I'm going to have photographs with my writing, and, I only have my mother's book. How many books have I written or read in my life? Not written one, but she had all of her photographs in the middle of the book, but I was thinking it would be more fun to have a photograph for each story and maybe to divide everything into not paragraphs, but each story individually and have pictures that go with them. And because I like pictures, I'm a picture. I go straight for the photographs when I go to a book. And then
Absolutely. I
that's
think
my
it's so important.
yeah. So I don't know what I'm doing. And the other day I was telling myself, and I don't listen to that voice, that I'm not a writer. Yesterday I went to my father's headstone again. He died 58 years ago, and while I was walking there to clean it, I took like bleach and soap and like steel wool, and all this stuff because it was when I went, and I just felt like I needed to be clean, and the cemetery wanted to charge me, where Cecily Tyson, Mike Miles Davis, and Duke Ellington are buried. I said, no, I can clean it myself. And I was just telling myself that I'm not a writer and nobody wants to read any of your, and who cares about your story? I don't know. I'm just going through a difficult time, but that's
Well,
just me.
so
I don't
when
listen to that voice. Yeah.
well, yeah, now you know how to identify that's the shitbird, right? But like, but but I forget who that is. Anne Lamott maybe talks about the shitbird, but
Your
It is.
mother.
It is her, Anne Lamott.
It's your
You're right.
is
mother.
it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But just that scene, I would like you to just write the scene of going to clean the headstone. It's beautiful. Like your instincts on what is a story are great,
Yes.
And what did you want to read anything today, or are you too
Yeah, I can know. Let me go see because
just
I've got.
combobulated?
I'm
Okay,
gonna have to go to my notes. Let me make sure I have enough battery left. Yeah, let me go to my notes because
okay. While you do that, I'm gonna ask
okay,
Amy. Amy,
okay.
were you gonna read today, or do you just want to hear us read?
Either way, I mean, I came late, so if you'd already divided up the time, no problem.
We're only halfway through the hour, so
Yeah, I have stuff.
okay. Well, if Susanna doesn't find something in a
No, I've
sec,
got something here that I can.
okay, cool.
All right, I'll just start
Now,
with my.
do you want
Yeah.
to do the brief 1 minute or less overview of what you're working on to practice? The elevator pitch.
You mean, okay, yeah, that I'm writing a book about my life. I don't know, and where it starts and where it ends, nobody knows. I just have a lot of.
Oh, turn your camera on so we can
Okay.
see.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, my pitch is that, I think I have an interesting story, and I know that when I start talking, everybody listens, and I don't know, I want to put it down on paper. We used to write on paper once upon a time, and and I have my own version. My mother wrote a book that was published in 6 languages, and I actually opened it the other day. I've never read it. She doesn't have my brother and our last names in it. And when it's just she was such a weird lady. I'm just doing this for myself because I feel like I need to do this, and I don't know how it's going to, how it's
So
going to
right now it's a
Yeah.
series of scenes with fascinating unhinged people through the 60s and 70s,
Right.
but the more times you're asked to, and this is the most horrible thing to be asked, what's your book about? The more times you do this, you'll become more comfortable with just like letting a few sentences fly. It's a very hard thing to learn how to do, actually, but it's helpful. Okay, so these are
Okay.
these are scenes.
I wrote some stuff down. Let me see if you guys, while I'm reading it, I just, I don't know if I've read anything, taken anything out of this.
Wait, 1 second. Did you work more on the shoes, your mother's shoes?
No, I don't think I started with the shoes at all. I mean,
Okay.
I did add a little. This is about being partying with my mother. Did I read anything like that?
I'm not sure.
Did I talk about snorting cocaine with my mother?
No.
Bluntly. All right, it's very short. I don't even know. I could look for something longer, but I'll just read that, and maybe after that I can read something else. Partying with my mother, Dexter Gordon, Clifford Jordan, Alex Foster, my mother Sue, myself. After a late night of clubbing at Bradley's, a jazz club on the Lower East Side, owned by Bradley Cunningham on University Place between 10th and 11th, which was around the corner from an apartment my mother bought in 1971 when I was 16. The first time I walked in the place, I was 15, underage, too young to order liquor. The first thing I saw on the wall was a framed cartoon from New Yorker magazine of a man standing at the door with his luggage announcing, "I'm home." Little did I know that decades later, I would spend endless nights of my life there drinking and doing cocaine. Though there were the years I did stop drinking on my own. I would sit at the bar looking at myself in the mirror behind the bartender, high as a kite, thinking I was okay because I wasn't drinking. We all ended up at my mom's, Sue Mingus's apartment at Manhattan Plaza, a building subsidized for performing artists. Dexter lived 2 floors below. He and his wife had separated and he was there. Dexter, Clifford, and Alex, all horn players, all saxophone players. Dexter and Clifford, known for their tenor, known as tenor players, were all passing around a mouthpiece from Dexter's horn. What I realized was that each had their own breath and style while blowing, even though it was the same mouthpiece on each horn, the sound was distinctly their own. Cocaine was also being passed around. all were. I will never forget when I saw my mother lick the $20 bill that had cocaine dust left on it. How disgusted I was, even though I was there with her tit for tat. I still remember to this day, 27 years later, now it's 32 years later into my sobriety. I guess I've written this once when I was sober 27 years. Okay, there's one story for you guys. It needs a little, tweaking. Of course, these were just getting thoughts down on
Well,
paper.
my thinking is that what you're doing is sketching out these scenes, and then you start sketching out. Okay, here's the details. Here's where the place is. Here's the year and everything. But then you always hit this certain point where you're like, you hit the hot spot where it's like we were passing around Dexter Gordon's mouthpiece of his saxophone, and I'm like, what? Okay, this is where the camera zooms in. I could probably watch a whole documentary about their different horn styles and breathing styles, and the thing about passing the cocaine around and the horn around. So I think what you're doing is sketching, and you're going to turn these into little jeweled, paintings or watercolors, and you're just getting them down. I mean, it's a wonderful scene.
Right.
I don't
Sketching, that's a nice idea. What?
Yeah, because you have to write into it as a writer. You're warming up. Like the first page is just like, meh, right? Because we don't actually end up in that bar. That bar turns out to be just something you were writing till you got to that place, which is this apartment where real shit is happening. And whenever you get to those real details, we're like, what?
Yeah, that's, I was just going to add to what Kara said. It's like what's going on in your head, nobody else knows except you, right? But the only way we can get in is exactly what Kara said, is through the concrete details, the details that you give us, which are like hints, which are like the sketches that we can see, the actual thing that's on the paper. So there's enough there. There's a lot there where we can go, whoa, this is quite the story, you know? So
Yeah, so
that's
keep sketching, because then
exactly.
we'll tell you, cold, cold, hot, 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 cold, cold, you'll start to feel that. You'll start to feel where
Like,
the
creating a foundation for a story, because I can't just go from 0 to 100, but whatever. I'm just putting it down, and then as I get more seasoned, if that's a word for it, that we're start filling in some of the gaps and being more descriptive, or feeling
Yeah,
like
and
it's not scattered.
you will learn more craft because we'll force you into it. We'll be like, wait, I need to know what Dexter Gordon was wearing, like I need to know what the color of the suit was because right? Yeah, I love that everybody's at a different sort of level of their process and their projects, but everybody's got a project here, which is kind of what I intended for Writer's Daily Dive. So, and Amy, you have like, when you told me ultimately how you were summing up this history and that it tied into the Roe v. Wade thing, I was like, whoa, she's got an elevator pitch now. Would you like to give it to us?
Sure. I am
Oh,
unmuted.
wait,
Okay.
I should say we're recording this today. If you are not comfortable with that, then I'll stop the recording
No,
and you
no
can go
problem.
later. Okay.
So my memoir is about how 3 generations of women are impacted by Roe v. Wade. So my mother, and really by abortion. So my mother, and I kind of need to say this as the background, but my mother gave me up for adoption, and then her daughter after me kept her children, but it was at the direct, she was disowned by my mother for having illegitimate children. And
Whoa.
then my sister, her granddaughter, relinquished her child to the Christian right. So I'm following all of
Whoa.
this because most of it, right, I
Whoa.
didn't know any of it. And so I'm following all this. And so it's not, anyway. And so it's
If I'm a
also,
publisher, I'm taking this.
right. It's also kind of a lot about how adoption impacted me. And so it's in short little pieces and there's repetitions. I'm going to read this part that is
Can
kind
I
of,
ask you one thing? And that is, I haven't done it. Can you put your last name so people know who we are? And I think if you click on participants, find your name, it'll say rename, and I'm going to put my whole name because I just realized how ridiculous. Nobody will know who we are. So I just renamed myself, and I think you can put in your last name so people will know who you. Great.
okay. So I'm just going to read so you're missing like the exciting part where I just met my mother. And then I get a letter from her, and then I guess you'll have to time me because I think I'm just going to read a little part of the letter, and then I want to read this other part. So it's all in little pieces, and it all kind of starts to weave together. So I'm writing 2 disparate pieces that hopefully connect. So this piece is called Undeliverable. After a while, actually not long after, my letters came back as undeliverable. I called her on January 15th, 1986, only a month after meeting her, and only 5 months after our first phone call. "This isn't working out," she said. "I'm sure you understand. I made a decision 25 years ago to go my own way, and I'm going to stick to it." Well, yeah, that's what you decided, I said, but not what I decided. "Well, it's going to have to be how it's going to be." There was a long pause in which I cried and sniffled. "Okay," she said. "No, it's not okay. There's no part of this that's okay." Snot was running down my face, and I tried to keep the sobbing from hiccuping. Okay, it goes on. And then the next piece is called Jeffrey Dahmer. Inconsequentiality requires indifference, and on the surface, I had it in spades. So much so that I believed I was indifferent. I didn't care. I didn't care. Who cares? Whatever. Maybe I should kill myself. Would anyone notice? I cared about food. I thought about it a lot and what would be the next thing I would eat. But you, nah, whatever. You wanted to, okay, sounds good. Around the age of 16, I had sex with a lot of boys in the summers. There was no pleasure involved. There was no pain. I was indifferent. They wanted to, I went along. On some level, there must have been some kind of feeling that I had that I was wanted, but I don't remember the feeling, nor can I conjure it up now. The indifference kept me aloof, alone, cut off from myself, and this I equated with safety. I was 44 years old in a personal growth workshop in LA in 2004. The rules of the workshop were that I could only eat what we were presented with at meals. We were not allowed to bring our own food or purchase anything. At one point, during the workshop, we were to think of the person in the world we hated and feared the most. That was easy. Jeffrey Dahmer. We were then to dress like them and spend the day as them. I dressed in nondescript black clothes. I got a small backpack and I put some money and some worksheets from the workshop into the pack. There was a Krispy Kreme donut shop on site. I had two ways I was going to lure people. One, see if I could buy them a donut. And two, ask for help with a problem that we could fill out a worksheet on. I figured that if either of these two things occurred, it meant that I had succeeded in gaining their trust and connection in order to dismember them. I was not lonely or inconsequential or indifferent. People walked around the workshop room with signs around their necks, pedophile, child abuser. I scoffed and ignored them. First of all, they weren't doing the assignment. They were advertising who they were. And second of all, I wasn't interested in them. People were either a potential victim of mine or not worthy of notice. It was not unfamiliar for me to walk around the world with this way of seeing. I lured 8 people into eating donuts and giving me help. I wasn't fake. I didn't try hard. I chose my victims carefully, and I wasn't wrong about the ones I chose. I knew more than they did about themselves. I knew about them, and I knew about how I was going to get to them, and I knew what was going to happen to them.
Oops.
They
I
didn't know
don't know
anything
if
about
that's
me.
You or me aiming at my video
What? What?
sentences. Go back just a few sentences. Go back just a few sentences because my Wi-Fi conked out.
Oh. I
You
lured
said
8
either you were a potential victim of mine or exactly.
People were either a
Yeah,
potential
that's the
victim of
spot. I
mine.
lured 8 people.
Okay. Or not worthy of notice. It was not unfamiliar for me to walk around the world with this way of seeing. I lured 8 people into eating donuts and giving me help. I wasn't fake. I didn't try hard. I chose my victims carefully, and I wasn't wrong about the ones I chose. I knew more than they did. I knew about them, and I knew about how I was going to get them, and I knew what was going to happen to them. Sort of like the adoption workers. They didn't know anything about me, and they left not knowing anything about me. After the exercise was over, the sound engineer called me over. I've been a sound engineer for 10 years and observed this exercise for the last 10 years, and I have never seen anyone as calmly scary as you are. Are you okay? Who are you? I looked at her, saw her seeing me, and I was so relieved. No, I was not okay, and I really didn't know who I was.
That's a good place to stop. How fucking great is this book? This is awesome. I don't know if you know it, but Jeffrey Dahmer is my favorite serial killer.
What?
And and if you haven't seen the brilliant film, you got to watch it. It's unbelievable, the insight into humanity. But this writing is just wonderful.
You have us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was
Yeah.
excellent, Amy.
What-
Thank you.
What was that, like 4 paragraphs, and you have us, like we're ready to read it. whatever it is, give it to us.
I guess the one part I get confused, like, actually, as I was reading it, I put in that part, kind of like the adoption worker. Like, it's obvious to me that that's
Right.
going on, but do I need to put that in there? I don't know.
You
That's
know,
like the whole thing.
yeah, but this is the exciting part because it's like a treasure hunt because you know that weird connection. Like I want to write this piece about Led Zeppelin recently because it's such a big impact on my life from being 12 and having to sit through Led Zeppelin films stoned with like just this terrifying. Now they are so important to me, and I don't know the connection between all these layers is going to be, but Led Zeppelin's going to be like the central thing. So this Dahmer thing is really, and especially because I know everything about Dahmer, it's just very, and the insight into you, into being able to play him, and I don't know. This is really awesome. You must be scared sometimes at how awesome this book is. No?
No.
I think maybe it's a little daunting because it's so right on for the time and what you're writing and the way you're writing it, which is so Amy. And you guys, I can talk to her like this or maybe not because we've known each other since we were 14.
Wow.
Really
And
amazing.
and I remember some of those boys.
Okay.
I'm just delighted. No, because it was all about boys at that age. But
Oh, sure.
what else do I want to say about the writing? What else does anyone else want to say? Why does it pull us in so quickly?
The details when you were talking about the Krispy Kreme donuts and how you were able to lure,
It's funny.
when you said there was like 6 or 7 people that you were able to lure with that, that's what got me. That was like, oh my God. Like, if you wanted to, if you were really Jeffrey Dahmer, you could do it. And
So
that's what was like, ugh.
But you'd have
It's
to
great.
get them into your car.
Yeah.
it's the voice that drew me in.
Voice, yes.
It's that very distanced, kind of cold,
But whatever.
Yeah.
objective voice
Right.
that is clearly holding a lot of heat.
That's a great way to put it because
Yeah.
she's not oversharing. She's not
Mhm.
telling us how to feel.
She's
It's-
undersharing.
She's
Yeah.
undersharing.
And that restraint is really a hook.
Yeah, I believe so too. Okay, with the last 6 minutes, I was going to read something just to stay. It's the next sort of, I'm calling these chapters, but I don't know if they really are, you guys. I just, oh God, it's almost like a confessional. This is from the draft of the larger scope of this project is a collaboration between my late husband and I. He was a trans man, and he left me all of his documents from his childhood, all of his transformations, and then we met in AA. So there's that transformation, and then we went through his death together. There's that transformation, and then what I started studying, deep diving into death and Tibetan Buddhism after he died, and having experiences of lucid dreaming. So it's like a big, messy book where we talk to each other. And a lot of these are, let's see, drafts. A lot of these are kind of like fragmented confessionals because I haven't, but I'll just read something. Dispatches from our book, number 26. I'm trying to understand how it is that your memory has stopped. What I mean is the memory of that particular designated Nicholas that you and I knew in time and space. That Nicholas that may have stopped making new memories at the point of your death. That Nicholas that is transformed into ash, sitting in the terracotta vessel in the living room with a long protruding beak and wings. But then I remember I really don't know a damn thing about anything, so it may not be true that your memory has stopped. What I need to know is what is the piece of you that is still traversing from time to no time to time and back again, and maybe swooping in and out? Who or what holds the vital piece of you? Into which horcruxes have you squirreled away your gold? That final element distilled down in alchemical chambers until nothing extraneous is left. Where is the vital spark of you? When it's warm, I take your heavy bird urn in my two hands and I balance the weight on my stomach and I carry it outside to sit under the trunk of the katsura tree. I take the carved candle stopper out of the mouth and I put whatever flowers are in bloom in the open top. At dusk, I push the flowers down deep, carry you back inside, and put the candle stopper snugly in place. You must gain incremental weight every time. Seasons of flowers and berries and poor, curious insects mixing with you in an ongoing reduction or poor man's alchemy. I just never want you to be lonely, even in your designated residence in ash. Then I talk about the psilocybin arrived today. Eating children is a recurring theme in my dreams. Okay, here's the part. I'm thinking a lot about excavation and evidence and photographs, and I just remembered this phrase, time eats her children. I remember that I took pictures of you on the day you found out about your cancer diagnosis. Secretly. I wanted to have the evidence. I wanted to record you at that moment in time because I knew it would be important. And I'm queasy at the thought of how I behave. What kind of a person would do this? Only a writer would do this. Gathering the evidence and retelling your story back to you as a gift is my way of redeeming myself and producing something to make my life worthy enough to earn my keep. So it just goes on. So I'm still editing this. And I just wanted to have something to read that's in progress today. So that's what I got so far. And trying to figure out how to put it all together, just like the rest of you guys. It's like there are things sitting next to each other, and I know they go together, like Amy was saying, and I'm sure one day it will all become apparent.
I love the journey. I love it so much. I love how, you add these things and you add, the flowers and when you said, and you're gaining weight, it was like, I did not expect that. You don't expect that. And it's like, wow, wow, wow. I love
Yeah,
it.
that was
You're a documentarian. This is testimonial or testament. That's what it is. It's testament. And there's nothing unfinished to me about that piece. It is, it's complete. And I don't know about the parts that you skipped over. I think I would feel the same way about them too. And then it just, who was it that I've done this before? I've just put everything out on the floor. Like I look at chapters that way. I lay pages on the floor and let them buzz at each other or something.
You fight it out. Ginsberg and what's his name came to see Burroughs in Morocco one of the many times he lost his mind, and he had naked lunch, like in all these crazy heroin, like typed out pages, and they were all over the floor. And Ginsberg and forget who the other guy was. They like made the book. They were like, okay, let's just put it. Let's let the pages fight it out, and we'll sort them. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think there's I mean, your material, I don't feel a big necessity about that in your
Okay.
material. I mean, it already is ordered. It's ordered by,
Well, but you're only hearing this part, these diaries, which are in some way ordered, but then there's this whole other part. But oh, they're kicking you out of your hotel room.
Gotta
Yeah.
go.
Steve. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank
by
you.
Steve.
I love this. I love that we're showing up and working on projects.
Yes, and I just love your language. I mean, not only the language that you use to talk with Nicholas, but the language that you use in talking with us. It's just very inspiring. So
Oh,
thank you.
cool. For 1 hour a day.
Yeah, I'm going to be driving on Monday, so I may not be able to join you.
Okay, you driving up north, or you?
I'm going to Austin,
Ooh,
see my friend.
very cool.
Okay.
All right.
Are you feeling better?
I am in a way. It's just my stomach feels so weird. The stitches, it's like it's reconstructed. Like, so everything's like, I don't know. It's just
Good.
weird.
Yes, a few more days.
Science fiction weird, you know? Like, what is this? Is this my stomach? Ew, you know? Yeah.
I do know.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, yesterday or the day before we had you, me, and Amanda who've all had this operation. So we might have to start a new club.
Yeah, the hysterectomy club.
All right, bye, Rochelle.
I
Okay, that was Writer's Daily Dive. Let me see if I know how to stop it. There. I can even pause it. Good information for next time. See you guys next Friday at 1.